Hey guys, Dylan from the Geek Duo here, and today I'll be bringing you my reaction to RWBY Beyond Episode 3, titled The Adventures of Somewhat. So, this and the title and the opening frame obviously implies that this is going to be following somewhat after their ending in the end of Volume 9. So, I am a little surprised we're jumping back to the Ever After. I figured, well, we wouldn't actually hear about any of that until maybe an eventual crossover into the main universe in the final battle. But yeah, I really don't know because when someone left off, they had what's the word they used? Um, it's reincarnation, but like they returned to the tree, got reforged into from little into somewhat. They didn't remember the heroes, but their heart remembered, as they said happened with some ever afterans. Um, and they left off with Juniper to go have their own adventures. So I'm very interested to see where they go, like what their adventures are. Do we see new places in the ever after that we didn't see in the show? Don't know. So let's get this started in three, two, one, go. Ah, so they've had direct interaction with the blacksmith. Cool. Pretty much go fix what the cat did. Would that not count as ordinary then? Okay, so far we're not going into any new places. Yes. The prince needs to be returned since they lost their purpose. Prince himself. He got corrupted by the cat and then needs to be fixed. Who are you? Familiar. No. Hmm. Is the prince gonna be fair this time then? Hmm. Hmm. I wonder if that was an intentional. This almost seemed. I was gonna say this sort of seemed like the Jabberwocky area. Huh. Yeah. Sorry, I'm still a bit sick. Um. I will say this was one. This was probably the weakest of the three episodes. Huh. So this, my cursor isn't being captured. One sec. That is very clearly an Ambrosius portal, isn't it? Which means someone returns to the ever after. And given that this doesn't seem like much time, it took somewhat much time to do their goal. Like, they explored the um, genial gems area, which was not far from the tree, as far as we know in our journey, because they sort of went from there to the tree, but you can't actually reach the tree. Um, the market apica, which was like 2 acres away from, based on our travels, and then the um, Crimson Keep, which was directly next to the market acre. They didn't travel that far. It took Team RWBY like 2 days to make this journey, and they didn't have Juniper, so hmm. It sort of seems like someone was able to do their purpose um immediately, which, yeah, the Jabberwocky area is through the beach area and then into, but also it was connected to the um no, wait. Was it connected to the genial area? I'm trying to remember the map. Might have been. I'm trying to remember if Ruby went into the Jabberwock area, and that's where she saw Neo's mansion, or if that was in a different area. Can't quite remember. But who would be coming back, and why would they be there so quickly? Like, we know obviously time dilation happens, however, it happens the other way. Like, a lot more time passes in the Ever After than does in Remnant. But also, maybe not, because, again, we've got Jean to look at, who's over 100 years old, but he didn't actually age between seeing Alex and Lewis and seeing Team RWBY, which was like 80 years apart, minimum. Yet he was also aged massively between when he got there, got sent back in time, and when. I'm thinking too much about the time dilation thing, that especially in such a wacky place like this, where time only seems to flow when it needs to flow. But in the 2 days that Team RWBY were there, a while had happened in Remnant. But so really, um, so really, this could be opening the portal to the final battle, implying that yeah, they were wanting to retrieve some of the Afterans. But the fact that it opened directly in front of where someone in Juniper is, and they said you're back, it has to be Team RWBY or Jean. Now, there is the possibility that this is what it looks like when someone is returned from the tree, rather than being absorbed in a wave of leaves and then just manifesting there. They could, because the blacksmith gave the gods their powers, the gods then gave the relics their powers. Theoretically, the blacksmith would have the same powers as the relics. So this could be returning from the tree, and it's just someone that's somewhat interacted with. But to say you're back implies you know exactly who they used to be, which isn't really the case with the Afterans, because the prince didn't recognize somewhat. Neither did the herbalist. Then again, this version of the herbalist never met Little, so. I don't know. It's a weaker episode of the three that we've seen so far. I still reckon that number 2 was the strongest, and then Junior Detectives would be in the middle. But yeah, we only have one more episode of this left, and then we're done with all RWBY content until they finally announce when Volume 10's gonna be. But yeah, I'm a little confused as to who that's going to be. Like, either it's time for the final battle, or they're just opening a solid connection between the two realms. That could be interesting. But then no, wait. To open the portals, you'd need the staff. Oh shit. So this would have to either be they somehow get the staff back from Salem and Cinder, or this is after everything. Huh. Or it is just Neo. It could very well just be Neo being returned from the tree. Um, but yeah, a little confused now that I've thought about that. But that's where we're going to end this one. And with that being said, I'll catch you in the next one.